For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. The 2024 election just got a little more interesting as the Supreme Court just ruled that Donald Trump may claim immunity from criminal prosecution for some of the actions he took as president. The decision says presidents have immunity for official acts, but not all acts are official. This move will most likely delay Trump's current trial until after the November election. Now, of course, President Biden had a problem with this decision, stating that no one, not even the former president, is above the law. Comedian Earthquake would react to the latest Supreme Court news by saying he's done talking about Trump, joking that we don't have a president anymore, we've got a king. Today we have our Comedy Hype analysts Marvin Hunter and Sean Larkin joining us for today's discussion on the Supreme Court's latest ruling. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
That did it. Tapping out. That's it. Donald Trump, you the greatest motherfucker in the world. You won't hear me say nothing bad about his ass no more. Not after the Supreme Court gave this motherfucker immunity. And all he got to do is call it an official act. And on top of that, you can't use motive against him. We all world's first 48 hours. When they first looked for a criminal, what was his motive? Well, he owed him money, and that's her baby daddy, and her baby daddy is mad. None of that. All he got to do is kill your ass and say it was a motherfucking official act. And the motive don't matter, because you can't hold it against him. But I did it. Quick out. Y'all better stop talking about Donald Trump. We don't have no president no more. We got a king. Kings do what the they want to do.
Now, Marvin, you joined me yesterday, so welcome back. But I got to give an official welcome to Sean Larkin for joining us.
Hey.
How you doing?
Thank you for having me, love.
Absolutely. Now, I want to hop into it. I'm going to start with you since, you're on this week. Your reactions to seeing what we saw him have to say about Donald Trump. What are your thoughts there about Earthquake?
He was right. I mean, this is turning into the Wild Wild West. I wasn't scared, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting a little nervous now.
Yeah.
I think we're stepping into uncharted waters and no telling what's gonna happen. But I also think that he has been president before. We woke up the next day, the sun still came up. So I don't know, life has a way of balancing itself out and figuring itself out. So maybe he does become a dictator. And maybe he is almost 80. He might not live 2 years. So who knows?
Absolutely. Marvin, let me get your thoughts. Seeing Earthquake react to Trump's immunity, what's your thoughts there?
I'm with Earthquake 100%. It feels like we're in Gotham City and Trump is a villain. I'm like, where's Batman?
Right.
Where's Batman at? Because this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is crazy that they would do that for him. You know what I mean? With him being of the low character that he is, no empathy, narcissistic, all of these things that he is. And all it was a reward from him for him appointing them people in office, because during their hearings they asked him, "Is the president above the law?" They all said no.
Yep.
And yet here we are.
Yep.
And they didn't right out say that he has immunity, but they made it the water so murky to where you could never prosecute him forever.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous. I don't know. It's the worst decision that the Supreme Court has ever made in my lifetime. I know that.
Absolutely. Now, some of those characteristics that you mentioned, we actually seen some of that unfold during the presidential debate. So let me ask you this, because here we have the immunity, right? And then we saw the presidential debate and just everything unfolding. A big conversation that people are having is, who are you going to vote for? Are you going to vote? So I won't necessarily ask you who you're going to vote for.
Oh, you can.
But with the election, if you feel comfortable sharing, please do. But do you plan to vote for this upcoming election?
Absolutely. My dad was with civil rights. He was with SNCC. I would never betray what our elders, what our ancestors did. I'm going to vote. You know what I mean? Biden could probably screw a baby duck and have Kamala hold his head on live TV, and he's still better than Trump.
Yeah.
I would light my crotch on fire before I vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my answer.
Yeah, plain and simple. Sean, let me ask same thing. Do you intend to vote for this upcoming election?
Honestly, I had not. I'm tired of giving my vote away.
Come on, Sean.
I'm tired of giving my vote away.
Come on, dog.
Listen, man. Look at our choices. Our choices are horrible.
Yes.
I think Biden's heart is in the right place, but his mind is gone.
No,
Come on. If Biden was your grandfather, you'd have took his car keys by now.
Oh, long time ago.
There's no way you let this
Long
man
time
drive.
ago.
But he gonna run the country?
I can't disagree with that, but I just can't to not vote. I just feel like you don't have a voice.
Well, and there's more to it than that. I feel like, first of all, I definitely want to vote in midterm elections.
Right.
Yes.
I want to vote for my
Locally.
local government because that's what really governs our immediate lives.
Absolutely.
But as far as presidential, until there's a candidate that has a clear and precise agenda for the black community, I mean, not the gay community, not any other community, but us specifically, I'm tired of giving our votes to the Democrats.
So rising tide don't lift all boats.
Has it?
Somewhat. I think this is how I look at it. I think that the champion of all programs that help the less fortunate, battered women, homeless people, school lunch, Meals on Wheels have all been birthed and protected by liberals. Mm-hmm. Republicans are dead set on abolishing them. I'm for the little guy. So I'm not a fan of Biden, so don't say that. I'm just not a fan of Trump.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? More. So that's where I'm gonna vote.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of people were in this same situation last time where it's just like choosing the lesser evil. It's not necessarily saying that I'm on one side or not, but it's just I'm just not for Trump. Let me ask you this, Sean. 2 questions for you. 1, is there anything that could change your mind? And 2, did you watch the presidential debate and what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'm honestly, my mind is the more I'm seeing what could happen to this country, I'm like, I'm probably gonna go in there and gonna vote and gonna be pissed that I did it.
Okay, so there's a possibility that you'll still vote because
Yes, and
the
I'll be
likelihood
mad
of
that I
another
voted.
candidate
Yeah, at least
coming
you
in
vote.
is-
And I'll be mad that I voted for Paw. Because even if I vote for Biden, come on, there's no way he's gonna live another 4 years.
But if he does, let's say he does win the election, you have Kamala, who's the vice president. So you still have, his team that's in alignment with what he believes or what he's saying. So there's some
I don't know a lot about Kamala except that she
Nobody
was in with Montel.
Okay, so what were your thoughts on the presidential debate? Did you, or any clips that you saw from that? What were your thoughts on that?
The one thing a lot of people didn't see that I just recently saw is after the debate when the cameras stopped rolling, they kept the cameras rolling, but they went off air.
Yeah.
And Trump, he just walked around the corner. Biden literally had to be helped down off a half-inch step.
Yeah.
The man can barely walk.
He's about out here.
Yeah. Again, his heart is in the right place, but his knees ain't.
You can stop it. Stop it. I mean, it is. Let me get your thoughts on the presidential debate because for me, it was sad to watch. It is sad to watch that. But
and they were sitting up there like, close your mouth.
Yeah. It was an old people Easter speech. It was old people Easter speech.
Talked about golfing.
That's what it was. It was ridiculous. You had one dude lie, and then the other dude, house slipper salamander. He don't know what the hell's going on. But I feel bad for Biden because he shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
We have no more Democrats have done a horrible job at putting somebody viable up there.
Yeah.
There was no one but him. He should be playing with his grandkids. He should not be having to deal with this.
Let me ask you this. Recently, we talked about Eddie Griffin, where he spoke about, there should be an age limit. And I've seen this conversation before. Because even when we talk about retirement, there's a retirement age.
Yes.
Either you get pushed out for retirement or you're told to retire. What are your thoughts? Do you think there should be an age limit when it comes to someone who's running our country?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You should not be able to run if you are over 70. You can turn 70 while you're in office, but when you're over 70, you should not be able to run. You can't be that young. I think, what is it, age 40 something or something like that?
I think so.
You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Term limits too. You got fossils in the Senate. You know what I'm saying? There are people up there in diapers. Literally, and they make a decision. It's crazy.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think 65 should be a max.
That should be the limit. You can't be over 65. I can see that. I wouldn't be mad at that. So let me ask you this, Sean. When we're seeing this, who's to blame, right? Because seeing the immunity still blows my mind. I don't think I've fully been able to process what I'm seeing. But who's to blame when we're looking at Democrats and Republicans? Who's to blame for, the actions being taken? Because Democrats are currently still in office right now, but we're still seeing Roe versus Wade being turned over. Now, you have the immunity and all these different things. Who's to blame in this?
I think the algorithm.
Please explain.
The algorithm, this country has been, I think this country is more divided than it's ever been since the Civil War. Because if you go online, whatever you like, whatever you think of, That's all that's fed to you.
Yep, that's
constantly fed to you. You never get to see the other person's point of view.
Yeah.
So you got the horse blinders on.
Yeah.
Like me, if I'm a Democrat, that's all I watch. That's all I'm gonna see. That's all CNN is gonna keep coming on. But if you are a diehard Republican Trump fan, that's all you're gonna see. And it's crazy because as stupid as you may think MAGA people are, they think you just as dumb.
Yeah.
And they will be right. There's stupid people on both sides. There are extremists on both sides. There are people on the fringe who should not be talking who are talking.
Yeah.
And they're confusing everything. It's like we are in revenge of the ISS students.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we had. The kids in the back of the class had their head on the desk,
Yeah.
the whole class. Now they out front. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great point.
It's ridiculous. I think that the Democrats have no balls. I think that they're weak, and the Republicans are more unified. They're going to support their dude regardless. Regardless. And we are so wishy-washy and all over the place. I mean, it is very, very sad. But the politicians really don't have a lot of power. Dark money from corporations run everything.
Yeah.
It runs everything. We could change that if everybody got out and vote. If everybody just really hunkered down.
What about us holding our vote? What about? I know the horse kind of out the barn, but what if the black
the horse is
community?
out the barn.
Ice Cube said something, and I ridicule Ice Cube, but I'm sorry, Ice
on,
Cube.
that's a conversation,
I think you were right, bro. If we came to the community and say, hey, if you ain't signing this paperwork talking about some real reparations for our people, we ain't holding our vote. The Asian community do it.
If we withheld our vote, what do you think that would solve? Nothing. They're gonna go forward. They don't want us voting anyway, so that's why they let us. They
want our vote.
Gerrymandering and suppress our votes and stuff like that. They don't care.
No, they want us to vote for them.
They want us to vote for them, but if we withheld our vote, do you think they will stop anything? They're gonna go forward.
Yeah.
It's gonna go forward regardless.
Like I said, there's a lot of programs out there, man, that liberals protect. They protect and Republicans try to abolish. That help our elderly, that help our less fortunate.
I get it, but you gotta understand, like, as upset as you were the day Donald Trump got elected and we thought the world was gonna end, the sun came up the next day. He was in there 4 years, ain't none of us died. We all right.
No, I ain't gonna say we all right. I'm not gonna say that because him being there changed the trajectory of how people think. It greenlit a lot of racists, a lot of fascism, a lot of people who were under rocks, they get, permission to come from under those rocks and talk crazy and influence the narrative. So, I mean, he is the type of person, not he's a bad president, he's a bad person.
But is it more that white people are knowing that their numbers just ain't gonna be there? Because in 20 years they're gonna be the minority.
Yes,
they're rat trapped in the corner. So anything goes now. I can't lose my power. You gotta understand that.
That's a lot of that.
I saw something where the Mexican males turn voting age is like 30,000 a month. If you get that vote, then you're in power.
That's why I say let them in. Let all the Mexicans in. Because in a few years, they'll all be of voting age. And the less fortunate tend to vote against Republicans. Let them in.
So let me ask this then to close us out, because I think a lot of people have their opinions and thoughts and we get frustrated, but it just comes to like, what's the solution? Or what do you want to see next? So I'll start with you, Sean. What are your thoughts? What are you hoping to see next? What do you think the solution is? I know it's a tricky one. What do you think?
Man, I went to Detroit Public School. I don't have a solution right now. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real and say I don't know what
That's
the solution is.
Yeah.
Just live your best life, and again, things tend to work themselves out.
Yeah.
Again, the sun gonna come up tomorrow, no matter who in office.
Let me get your thoughts, Marvin. What are your thoughts? What do
Bring
you think should
back
happen next?
objectivity. You can't be objective no more in society. A lot of it got to do with the algorithm. You either for me or against me. There's no middle of the road. Every mentor you've had, every good boss you've ever had your whole life, every good uncle has always been objective, had empathy, were fair people. This is what we desire in our regular life, but we don't demand it of the people we put into positions of power. If we start back doing that and remove all that dark money and the lobbyists and stuff like that, things will get better. But I think the horse is too far out the barn.
Yeah, and I will also add, you mentioned this earlier, I would love to see unity for real from our community. Being able to say, like, not necessarily, I won't say hold our vote, but saying like, hey, if you don't sign this or if you're not going to be for us for real, then we're taking our vote here. but really us moving as a people and not being so wishy-washy. But I think you both brought great points to the table. But before we let you go, of course, I'd like to know what you all have coming up. Sean, I'll start with you. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people keep up with you?
Check me out online, Sean, SEAN_Larkins. I got myself and Marvin Hunter will be on the road with Ricky Smiley, and we'll be in Orlando next week and in Miami the following week. Yes. You can check us out on YouTube on the We Talk Like That podcast, and we got new episodes of that coming out.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. Marvin, last and certainly not least.
Well, I'm just showing out. I'm out here showing out. I'm not here showing my natural ass. That's what I'm doing. Everywhere I go, online, Twitter, you know what I'm saying? It ain't Twitter no more, but get at me on TikTok, Instagram, comedian Marvin H1. Then we on the road, man. I'm just out here, keep my pants unzipped so I can pull them down, show my ass. That's what I do.
Well, again, thank you both for chiming in on this topic. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Earthquake's latest take on the Supreme Court news? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Did y'all enjoy that? We got so much more for you at hypersclub.com. Our exclusive interviews and backstage content gives you the chance to feel a part of the club. Come on and join.